Afternoon to be here with our very special guest, Tom Perez, Senior Advisor and Assistant to President Biden as Director of the Office of Intergovernmental Affairs. He has been with us today. I'd like to also recognize the number of people that have joined us on this day, and I really want to recognize members of our City Council, Marjorie Molina, the many people that have participated in this day. It has been a fabulous day. We've been out in the community talking about how when we all work together, we can make a difference in improving people's lives, especially when it comes to creating affordable housing and creating a sustainable future. Nowhere is this more true than this site, Pepper Tree. With our partners in the federal government, we were able to invest $8 million to keep these apartments as naturally occurring affordable housing for hundreds of Charlotte residents. Now, we usually call it a NOAA. That's the abbreviation for it. But it is one of probably the things that I think if you thought about biblical terms and you had Noah in the Bible, I think we're pretty close to being someplace that's very, very close to that. With our partners, we continue this summer through our partnership with the Southern Alliance for Clean Energy and Fourth Mobility. We're excited to also launch an electric vehicle car sharing program at Pepper Tree that will allow residents to share electric vehicles, helping to increase access to transportation in this area, and we hope in other areas that we find underserved in our terms of the ability to move around our city. Pepper Tree residents will have access to 2 electric vehicles and a charging station. You know, I'm always proud of what we do in Charlotte, but let's know that we have more work to do. And that's why I am thrilled to have a tremendous partner in the White House to keep our initiatives going. We're grateful for the investments that Biden-Harris administration as we work to be a model city on sustainability and affordable housing. The partnership that we have with the President and his team are indispensable. Now it's my honor to introduce Tom Perez. Mr. Perez has been at the forefront of this administration's work on affordable housing, sustainable communities, and ensuring all Americans can share in our nation's prosperity. I spent a good bit of time with Mr. Perez today, and I want you to know that I've not seen someone so much engaged in what was possible, and someone that talked about the values that we have, where we want to see people be successful, where everyone in our community, everyone in our country should have the opportunity to live with dignity. So I want to say now, thank you, Mr. Perez, for coming to Charlotte. Thank you for being who you are. And now, can we have a hand from Mr. Tom Perez?
Hey, thank you, Mayor. Appreciate you. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for your leadership. It's been such a pleasure getting to spend time with you today. and to see how connected you are to your community. And Mark, thank you for what you're doing here. This is remarkable. It's an honor to be here. Again, I'm Tom Perez, Senior Advisor to the President. And, one of the fundamental principles of helping people, public service, is you got to meet people where they are. A lot of people have not lived a linear pathway. Things happen. And what we are doing together, and the we in this sentence is the Biden-Harris administration, the Cooper administration, the Lyles administration, that great city manager over there who's always in the background, doesn't like to, get in the limelight, but is doing great work day in and day out. This investment, this partnership is an illustration of meeting people where they are. Many residents here don't have a car. Many residents here don't have access to a regular health care provider. Many residents work nearby here. Many residents are transit dependent. And many residents would love to live here, but I suspect they drive by here and they fortunately incorrectly surmise that I could never afford to live here because I don't have the income. And in a development that is almost 300 units, to have 30% of your units available to people at 30% of area median income, that is remarkable. That is the essence. When President Biden issued his executive order on equity day one of his administration, what he was saying was, whether it's American Rescue Plan, whether it's infrastructure dollars, whether it's dollars under the Inflation Reduction Act, any of those alphabet soup of federal investments that are transforming America and building communities, we want to make sure that we have equity in mind. We want to make sure we don't leave anyone behind. And the fact that of the 292 units, we looked at the one and only unit that's available. And that is a tribute to what you're doing. And if their child is not feeling well, they don't have to lose a day getting to and from a doctor if they have a doctor. They can go over there and access telemedicine. And by the way, the president's commitment to internet for all is akin to what FDR did in electrification for all. If you don't have access to high-speed internet in all too many places across this country, you can't see a doctor, because telemedicine is the wave of the present and the wave of the future. It's one of the most vital tools in the toolkit to ensure access to quality health care across America. And to have it literally walking distance is remarkable. So many people living here can't afford to own a car, but they do have a driver's license and they do have needs. And the fact that you can access an electric vehicle right here to run those errands, the most valuable asset you have as a parent is time. And if you can do something faster, you have more time to invest in your children. That's what this is all about. We frequently talk about, for good reason, the unprecedented investments in the President's Invest in America agenda. And I could give you all the chapter and verse of those unprecedented investments. But what is behind all the stats are stories. Stories of people who lost loved ones during the pandemic. And they don't want a handout, they just need a helping hand. They need a stable roof over their head. They need a good job. They need access to quality health care. They've got a grandmother who's diabetic, and they're making choices between their insulin, their food, and their rent. Joe Biden understands that. That's why he took on the pharmaceutical industry. And that's why we have a $35 a month cap on insulin as a result of the successful effort to lower prescription drug costs. And by the way, he wants to make it $35 for everyone who has insulin dependence. He wants to make sure we have other medications where we're lowering prices, and we're doing that just right now. Because his North Star is, how do I help everyday folks? His values are rooted in Scranton, Pennsylvania. They're not rooted on Wall Street. They're not rooted in some rich community along a beach. They're rooted in Scranton. They're rooted in communities just like this. And that's why we're so proud to be here. You have set such a great example, Mayor, in your leadership of using that equity lens to take the federal investments, couple them with city investments, couple them with our partners from Mecklenburg County to create opportunity everywhere. That's what progress is about. And as I said earlier today, we are in the throes of the most remarkable set of opportunities to transform communities for the better, to build a true clean energy economy, to make sure that everybody has access to quality, affordable health care. Build, build, build. That is the president's mantra. And he understands that we need to make sure we're building for people who live at every level, whether you're 100% or more of AMI, whether you're 60%, whether you're 30%, whether you're like my wife's clients who are unhoused, who are frankly 10% or less. Everybody needs to have access. Youngsters need to be able to walk home, and we ask these youngsters to walk home right in the middle of our presentation so you would see how we are working together to build community. That's what progress is about. And the reason I come to you with such optimism is because I am so grateful, and the President and the Vice President, Mayor, are so grateful that you, and that's you plural, everybody here, has taken these resources and used them in such a remarkably catalytic way. And we've only just begun. We have so much more. You know, it's easy to tear things down. And there are people across America who want to tear things down, including your rights. It's a lot harder to build things. We've made substantial progress through the bipartisan infrastructure bill in building infrastructure here. We also want to make sure we're building our human capital by investing in education, by investing in affordable housing, because if you don't have stable housing, you don't have a stable life. And that's what we're going to continue to do. Development by development, leading with our values. That's what President Biden, that's what he's all about. That's our North Star. And I want to thank all of you for the work you're doing day in and day out. Thank you. Thanks to those children that came by.
I'm not quite sure those children were coming just because we asked them.
Oh.
You know, I'm not quite sure of that. But I think at this point there's going to be some time for questions, and I know the people that know how to do questions will come up, and we'll take questions. Thank you.
Oh, okay, one-on-ones. Okay.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for joining. We're going to have one-on-ones now, but thank you for joining today. Thanks.